I'm about to reveal a secret to you, an ingredient that is missing from most of the success formulas out there today, which is why they don't work. Without this magic ingredient, your dreams and goals fall flat, no matter what they are or how long you've had them. But with this magic ingredient, you can accomplish anything and everything you want to, and it's called self-discipline. You remember the book and the movie, The Secret? Well, the real secret is not that if you roll your eyeballs and think happy thoughts, you'll be successful. The real secret is if you're absolutely crystal clear about what you want, and then you discipline yourself to do the things necessary to achieve it, nothing can stop you. Take a moment, if you would, to consider your biggest goals: health, happiness, and so on. Would you like to double your income? Would you like to lose weight, get in shape, get out of debt? What would you like to do? Well, if you can develop your self-discipline, you'll be able to accomplish all of those goals and much more. Literally nothing can stop you. I've heard self-discipline aptly described as the ability to do what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like doing it. You see, anybody can do anything if they feel like it. It's when you don't feel like it and you do it anyway that you put yourself on the side of the angels. As with so many of the keys to success, self-discipline is a learned skill. This means that even if you haven't perfected it yet, you can begin now. It's like a habit. You can develop the habit of discipline so it's automatic and easy.
Discipline is the root of all good qualities, but you have to absolutely apply it to things. It's everything. It's working out every day, making yourself stronger and faster and more flexible and healthier. Discipline is eating the right foods to fuel your system. It's about disciplining your emotions so you can make good decisions. It's about having the discipline to control your ego so your ego doesn't get out of hand and control you. It's about treating people the way you would want to be treated. And doing the tasks that you don't necessarily want to do, but that you know will help you or help your team. It's about facing your fears. It takes discipline to face your fears so you can conquer them.
One of my my mantra is a very simple one, and that's discipline equals freedom. I've found that, as an individual, the more disciplined you are, and it's counterintuitive, right? The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you actually have. And, you and I both know, if you wake up early, you get more done. You end up with more free time. So the more you manage your time, the more disciplined you are with your time management, the more free time you end up having. Yeah. The more disciplined you are, physically, with your diet, physically, the more freedom you have because you can do more stuff. You have more freedom. So the more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have.
You have to decide that you're going to be in control and that you are going to do what you want to do. Weakness doesn't get a vote. Laziness, they don't get a vote. Sadness, no vote. Frustration, no vote. Negativity, you don't get a vote. I don't even give my temper a vote. So the next time that you're feeling weak, or you're feeling lazy, or you're feeling soft, or you're feeling emotional, tell them that they don't get a vote. Tell them you are declaring martial law on your mind. You're declaring mind control. And impose what you want on your brain. Impose the discipline and the power and the positivity and the will. And use that mind control to move your life where you want it to be. It's the things I always say: get stronger, faster, smarter, quicker, friendlier, more helpful, more driven. Don't let your mind control you. Control your mind. And once you control your mind, then you can set it free. One of my direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me, he would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. And finally one day he was telling me about some issue that he was having, some problem. And he said, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. He said, that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say good. And I said, well, yeah. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get funded. Didn't get the job you wanted. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Got tapped out? Good. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out. Don't get startled. Don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
There's three things in particular that are absolutely necessary for you to be performing like a world-class superstar in your areas, in your craft. Number one, you've got to practice it for a minimum of 10 years. 10 years or 10,000 hours. So what do most people do? We try a skill that we want to be best in the world at, and we do it for a few weeks and then we give up. And what he's found is you've really got to have the focus and persistence for 10 years of daily practice before you start to perform at a level where the world calls you genius. Second thing is you've got to practice every day, but it's not normal practice, it's what he called deliberate practice. And that practice simply means it's practice done with a view to making every day better. Okay, that's what deliberate practice is. Conscious practice designed to make it better every single day. And then the third thing, when it comes to studying exceptional performance, almost every great performer, whether it's in sciences or sports or business or life, they were in talent hubs. They were surrounded by other people who were also wanted to be the best pianist or the best chess player or the best skier or the best entrepreneur, like Silicon Valley. So it really speaks to the importance of surrounding yourself with people whose lives you want to be living and picking your associations really, really carefully. Nothing works or no idea works until you do the work. Every expert was once an amateur and every master was once a beginner. You just got to start. Every expert was once an amateur, every master was once a beginner. And you just got to start, and then you got to start practicing. Your growth is built not around your comfort, your growth is built around your discomfort. Going to your limits is scary. Challenging your safe harbor is uncomfortable. But what I'm suggesting to you with deep respect is if you're not uncomfortable a lot, you're not doing very much. If you're not scared a lot, you're not making much progress. And so this second point is so key, which is I want you to pursue discomfort. I want you to remember that when you go to your edges, the edges of your potential, the edges of your capability, the edges of your mindset, the edges of your genius expands. The seduction of safety when it comes to our work and our lives and our dreams, that seduction of safety is actually more dangerous than the perception of uncertainty. And so point number 2 is really go for what's dangerous. Go to the places where your fear lives. That's where your growth lies. That's where your performance lies. You know, the project you're most resisting is the project you need to do right now. The dream that most frightens you is the dream you want to do as soon as you finish up today. The goal is the process. Don't get too hung up on achieving your goals this year. More important than achieving your goals, whether it's the new house, whether it's losing 25 pounds, whether it's getting the promotion, whether it's finding the love of your life. Those goals are great, but the real value of the goal is what the process towards the goal makes of you. Key point. If you want to get to world-class productivity, creativity, performance, it's much less about doing something huge on one sunny Wednesday and much more about consistently improving and making small, tiny wins every single day over time. Small daily improvements over time lead to stunning success. You and I have not only an opportunity to leverage world-class willpower to express our genius, I think we have a responsibility. And if you do not step up to the plate and express your potential and use each day as a leverage point to get closer to your mountaintop, and if you do not understand and appreciate that you were born into genius and maybe you've fallen into mediocrity, but you have a responsibility to express your absolute best, not only for your family and for yourself, but for the world, then I think when you get to the end of your life, the world is going to be a lesser place. Success is not inherited. Success is earned. Success is not inherited. Success is built. It's developed. It's earned. And that's a little scary thought because it means that your life right now is really a function not of luck, not of genetics, but you have the life you settled for. You have the life you've earned. Your choices have created your results today. Willpower is like a muscle versus an inherited quality. We don't have the brains we were born into. We have the brains we have earned. It takes 66 days to install a new habit. 66 days to wire in getting up at 5 o'clock, to wire in not having dessert, to wire in scheduling your week. I personally, and I'm no guru, I'm no no different from you, but I have built my life around minimalism. And basically I only make a few choices. I try to make as few choices as possible so I don't deplete my finite supply of willpower, and so therefore I have a ton of willpower for the few things that are most important. The more choices you make, the less willpower you will have. The more choices you make on things that are unimportant, the less choices and the less willpower you will have for the things that are truly important. Self-awareness is the DNA of transformation. Between stimulus and response, between being offered a cake and saying yes or no, between a temptation and your behavior, you have a 0.25 second window of opportunity. And in that window of opportunity, the more you can become aware. You see, most of us, key point, most of us go through our days on autopilot. We're making thousands of choices, thousands, and most of us aren't even aware of all the choices we're making. So the more awareness you can start building, the more you can start thinking about your thoughts and your behaviors through journaling, reflection, personal development. The 3 miracle drugs of willpower. Number 1, meditation. Meditation. There was one recent study that said 1 hour This is incredible. 1 hour, only 1 hour of meditation. I'm not talking about a year of meditation. 1 hour of meditation was, the subjects were studied 11 hours later. The prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for self-control, had grown significantly in the group that meditated only 1 hour. Meditation will grow your prefrontal cortex, and as your prefrontal cortex grows, automatically your willpower increases. And then you start finding you have the power to make better choices. You have the power to resist temptations. You have the power to get giant things done. You get the power to stick to your plan. You get the power to do the things that are most important to you. The second miracle drug, according to the science, to build willpower, and you'll love this one, it's exercise. Exercise has been called the wonder drug of willpower. There was one study that said 15 minutes on an exercise, 15 minutes on a treadmill, 15 minutes will grow your prefrontal cortex. 15 minutes on a treadmill every day will reduce your cravings. And if you don't believe me, and I know you do, go for a run or go for a walk, and you will find that your cravings for sugar automatically start to decrease. And then number 3, sleep. Those of us who are sleep deprived suffer from a syndrome called mild prefrontal dysfunction. And so the third thing you really want to do is get great sleep. Otherwise, you suffer from this mild prefrontal dysfunction. And that's why when you're exhausted, you can't make great choices. And it's also been shown that when you're exhausted, there's the release of a neurotransmitter called cortisol, which increases your cravings. Ideas are valueless without execution. And here's what I recommend: the vocabulary of can. Your words are powerful. You know, you cannot develop world-class willpower. You cannot create epic results saying, I can't all day long. I hate this. I'm not someone who can exercise. I'm just weak. Your words are unbelievably powerful. And so no more victim speak. Start using the vocabulary of I can. I will do this. I will get a bit of discipline. That we become our conversations. We become and behave like the people we associate with. And so what I'm suggesting to you, and it's so powerful, but your performance and your results are a mirror reflection of the 10 people you spend most of your time with. And so if you spend time with weak people, if you spend time with gossips, if you spend time with takers, if you spend time with victims, it'll be no surprise why you are a victim. Let us shift from any form and any realm of mediocrity and start playing in the club of mastery. And you know this, but to have the results only 5% have, you must be willing to do what only 5% are willing to do. And then the final thing I'm going to share with you is, in terms of a tactic, is mess-free environments. Mess creates stress. If your workplace is a mess, if your home is a mess, if your life is a mess, you will have far less willpower. And so one of the best things you can do for the next 30 days is to clean out your messes and go minimalist.
You can know what you want, you can know what you should be doing, but how do you make yourself do it when the feelings and the motivation isn't there? When all you got is fear. And so we make decisions of feelings. 95% of our decisions are made by how you feel in the moment. And that is the problem. You need to take control of the moment and leverage the power of your decisions and make them up here. Do you feel like making that cold call? No, you don't. Do you feel like doing that third set of reps? No, you don't. Do you feel like having that hard conversation? No, you don't. Do you feel like ending this relationship, whether it's in business or in your life, that is sucking you dry? No, you don't. We make decisions based on our feelings, and that is robbing you of joy and opportunity. And it is blinding you from the fact that how you change your life is one 5-second decision at a time, one push at a time. And if you accept the fact that you may never feel ready, and you may never feel motivated, and you may never feel confident, you may never feel courageous, and that's okay, but you can still push yourself forward. What happens over time is as you start to see yourself becoming the person that takes action, you start to see yourself becoming the kind of person that speaks even though your voice is shaking. You're the kind of person that has a bias toward moving instead of a bias toward thinking. Guess what happens? You build the skill of confidence and courage. There's a 5-second window between the instincts, the shoulds, the urges, the inner wisdom, the things that can change your life if you listen to it. You've got a 5-second window from the moment you feel that instinct to move. And if you don't, your brain is actually designed to kill it. 5 seconds is all you have. The second you hesitate, and you feel yourself hesitating, that is a moment of huge power, because what's happened is you've just started to pull back from something that you need to lean into. So when you feel yourself hesitate, you're triggering your mind that something's up. Like Lewis didn't hesitate when he pulled on his pants. He didn't hesitate when he's drinking his coffee. He didn't hesitate when he walked out the door to the gym, but now he's hesitating to make that call. Your mind now goes into a cognitive bias called the spotlight effect. It magnifies whatever it was that you hesitated doing. And the moment, yeah, like all of a sudden you're like, hey, I don't feel like it. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll do it later. And your mind is doing it because your mind's trying to protect you. Hesitation signals a red flag to your mind that something's up. Just that small hesitation. It's a habit that we all have. Should you hesitate on making a phone call? No. Should you hesitate on speaking up in a meeting? No. Should you hesitate when you feel yourself starting to procrastinate and you know you got work that you should get done? No, you shouldn't hesitate at all. Should you hesitate in saying the thing that you really feel in your heart? No, you shouldn't. Should you hesitate and edit yourself when you're talking? No, you shouldn't. But we've all trained ourselves to. So it's actually this habit of hesitating. You start catching yourself. It's a huge moment of power because you have a decision to make and you got to make it in the next 5 seconds. Are you going to go on autopilot and get trapped in your mind? Or are you going to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and awaken your prefrontal cortex and drive forward?